Welcome to the School of Wisdom, a weekly podcast produced for the Bible Bistro, studying the book of Proverbs chapter by chapter. My son, hear the instruction of your father. Forsake not the law of your mother, for they shall be an ornament of grace to your head, and chains about your neck. Now, this week's lesson. Hey, welcome back to the School of Wisdom podcast. This week, Proverbs chapter 10. I hope that you'll go to my-dailydose.com. That's my-dailydose.com. And there you'll find in the blog outlines for each of these chapters. You will probably profit from having today's outline there, the outline of chapter 10. There's some visual cues here that actually help us in the study of this chapter. And so I kind of did that for you. I divided it so that you could see visually some of the division within this chapter. Just go out to my-dailydose.com, get the outline, and while you're there, follow the blog. That way you'll know when other things come up, other outlines are posted. So in chapter 10, we begin a new section. We began with chapter 1, verse 1, the Proverbs of Solomon. And now we come to chapter 10, and we have that same thing again, the Proverbs of Solomon. What we have beginning at chapter 10 and running all the way through 25, I think it's 25. Don't quote me there, but I think it's chapter 25, is we have a catalog of all the Proverbs of Solomon. This is like the teacher sending us out to the library to do our study, to do some homework. So we go to the library and we open up the card catalog and we flip through it, and we're going to find all of these different themes in the book of Proverbs sorted there for us into all the little proverbs that Solomon wrote. In this chapter, we have a nice division given to us. So we start off kind of easy, actually. So here we have a wise son and a foolish son. So in one column, we have the wise son. In the other column, we have the foolish son. Now, the wise son, it says there in verse 1, makes a glad father. The foolish son, it says there in verse 1, is the heaviness of his mother. You know, I used to tease my wife that whenever my children behaved well, they were my children. And whenever they behaved badly, they were her children. And, of course, that didn't go over too well, as you can imagine. But it's a truism. And here we have it. Solomon writes it out for us. Because a mother feels it, doesn't she, when a son is foolish. She feels it more precisely. You know, there's a finer edge on it for mom than there is for dad. Because mom is more attuned to those kind of things, those emotions. And so here a wise son makes a glad father. And that's true because a father would be proud of his son, but he probably wouldn't say a whole lot about him if he was a fool. But a mother, she feels the weight of that. And so this is the guiding principle in a sense. What we have here in verse 1, a guiding principle for the rest of this chapter. We begin with diligence and wealth. Treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivereth from death. The Lord will not suffer the soul of the righteous to famish, but he casts away the substance of the wicked. He becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand, but the hand of the diligent maketh rich. He that gathereth in the summer is a wise son. He that sleepeth in harvest is a son that causes shame. All right, so these 4 verses here, 2, 3, 4, and 5, talk about diligence and wealth, and you can see how the psalmist goes back and forth between the wise son and the foolish son. Treasures of wickedness. Well, we just got through talking about the foolish son as a heaviness to his mother. Now we're talking about the treasure of wickedness. So there is a treasure to wickedness, but it is not true wealth, because righteousness delivers from death. The treasure of wickedness won't do that. It profits nothing. There's no end value to wickedness. There is a treasure to it. Some men seek after that, but there's no end value, and they find out that it's vanity. Verse 3, the Lord will not suffer the soul of the righteous to famish. So in righteousness, not only is there deliverance from the death, but there's also deliverance from famishing, from famine. But notice that it's the soul of the righteous. See, it's the soul of the righteous that the Lord is concerned about here. He becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand. Here's where we get into the whole idea of diligence. The poor man has a slack hand. The diligent man has a busy hand, and he makes rich. The hand of the diligent makes rich. He that gathers in the summer is a wise son. And it goes right back up to our verse 1, doesn't it? A wise son makes a glad father. But he that sleepeth in harvest is a son that causes shame. So, again, who's the foolish son? One who causes shame. So you see the division. It works really well here in this first piece, diligence and wealth. There's a huge theme that is found throughout chapter 10, and it's the theme of the mouth. Now, we're going to talk a lot about the mouth. We already have, but we're really going to kind of bear down on it in these 15 chapters, 10 through 25. We're going to talk a lot about how the mouth is used for good and for evil, how it's a blessing and a curse. And so we start off right away here in chapter 10. The blessings are upon the head of the just, but violence covereth the mouth of the wicked. The memory of the just is blessed, but the name of the wicked shall rot. The wise in heart will receive commandments, but a prating fool shall fall. He that walketh uprightly walketh surely, but he that perverteth his ways shall be known. He that winketh with the eye causes sorrow, but a prating fool shall fall. The mouth of a righteous man is a well of life, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. Hatred stirreth up stripes, but love covers all sin. In the lips of him that hath understanding wisdom is found, but a rod is for the back of him that is void of understanding. Wise men lay up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. So you see just how often the mouth, the lips, the mouth is spoken of here 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 times here in just this one section, 6 through 14. So the mouth of the wicked is what is really in view here, because the wicked here is mentioned 4 different times. 1, 2, 3, 3 different times, and then the fool is mentioned 1 time. So the mouth of the wicked is what's in view. Notice that we have a couple of repeating phrases here in this section. But violence covers the mouth of the wicked is found there in 6. It's also found in 11. But a prating fool shall fall is found in 8, and it's also found in 10, the second phrase in both of those verses. And, of course, prating here refers to the mouth, because if you're prating, then you're chattering. You're talking like a child, just a volume of words that mean absolutely nothing. So the chattering fool, the one who just talks and talks and talks and talks, and doesn't talk about anything in particular. So that's the prating fool. Prating fool shall fall. The mouth of the righteous man is a well of life. That, of course, stands in contrast to violence covers the mouth of the wicked, which we have there in verse 11. And the lips of him that hath understanding, wisdom is found. So we find life in the mouth of the righteous. We find wisdom in the lips of the wise. The righteous and the wise, their mouth is tending towards life and wisdom, while the mouth of the wicked is tending towards violence and destruction. You have that there in 14 with the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. So very important that we point these out. So we've gone from diligence and wealth to the mouth. A huge theme here is the mouth in Proverbs. Also a huge theme in Proverbs is diligence and wealth. We're going to talk about that a lot. And one of the things that Solomon is very intent on teaching us is that wealth is gained through diligence. It's not gained through sloth, and it's not gained by accident. Verses 15 through 17, if you have the outline, you'll notice that I have that marked poverty and wealth. We go back to the idea of wealth again. So 2 huge themes here. The idea of money and how it's handled, and the idea of the mouth and how it's handled. 15 through 16, the rich man's wealth is his strong city. The destruction of the poor is their poverty. The labor of the righteous tendeth to life. The fruit of the wicked is to sin. He is in the way of life that keepeth instruction, but he that refuses reproof erreth. So again, poverty and wealth are described. Again, the labor of the righteous tends to life. That goes right along with verse 11. The mouth of the righteous man is a well of life. So you see the righteous, we have the wise son. He makes a glad father. He's doing these things. The foolish son, the heaviness of his mother, well, we find out about him, don't we? The fruit of the wicked is to sin. Well, we know that would make any mom blush. He is in the way of life that keeps instruction. Isn't it interesting how often the word life pops up in Proverbs? We have it over and over again. We have it with the strange woman. We have it with Lady Wisdom. We have it here in these catalogs of Solomon's Proverbs. We have it all over chapters 1 through 9. Now, almost every chapter there was something about life. Here it is again. He is in the way of life. The labor of the righteous tendeth to life. The mouth of the righteous man is a well of life. And I'm just reading up here in just this one section. So much about life, righteousness, and uprightness. They go hand in hand. Wisdom tends to life. So having wisdom, studying wisdom, and seeking the Lord, and beginning with the fear of the Lord, tends to life. Then we go back to the idea of the mouth again. The tongue of the just. I have that marked there in beginning there in verse 18, and that'll take us down through verse 22. The tongue of the just. So again, that theme of the mouth comes up. He that hideth hatred with lying lips, and he that uttereth a slander is a fool. Well, here we have a very nice, neat, unique definition, don't we? The fool is one that utters a slander. A fool is one that hides hatred with lying lips. Sounds a little like passive-aggressive, doesn't it? In the multitude of words there wanteth not sin, but he that refraineth his lips is wise. The tongue of the just is as choice silver. The heart of the wicked is of little worth. Again, we go back and forth from the wise son to the foolish son. The multitude of words wanteth not sin. He that refrains his lips is wise. So the wise son, he doesn't say a whole lot. But the prating fool, who has the multitude of words, there's going to be sin there. Notice, the tongue of the just is as choice silver. The heart of the wicked is little worth. So little worth. And again, we have these body parts mentioned, don't we? The tongue and the heart. Again, this is one of those main themes here. The tongue of the just is as choice silver. So if the tongue of the just is choice silver, then what's going on in his heart? Well, in his heart, we know because Jesus teaches us in the Gospels that it's from the heart, out of the well of the heart, the mouth speaks. And so if the tongue of the just is a silver, then we know what must be in the heart has to be precious as well. But in the heart of the wicked man, there's little worth. And so his mouth is going to reflect what's in his heart, little worth. The lips of the righteous feed many. Again, notice the theme of life here. The lips of the righteous feed many. And let's compare that with the tongue of the just is choice silver. The lips of him that understanding wisdom is found. The mouth of a righteous man is a well of life. The labor of the righteous tendeth to life. So life and prosperity, again, because the mouth is speaking, we are producing in a way. But fools die for want of wisdom. The blessing of the Lord, it maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it. Well, who's that for, the prating fool or the wise son? Well, it's for the wise son. It's for the just who has a tongue of silver. Because in his heart, the fear of the Lord is found. In his heart, he meditates on the word of the Lord day and night. So that's what's going on in that heart. And then verses 23 through 26, we have the next section. The behavior of the wicked is described for us here. It is a sport to a fool to do mischief. Standing hath wisdom. The fear of the wicked, it shall come upon him, but the desire of the righteous shall be granted. As the whirlwind passes, so the wicked is no more, but the righteous is an everlasting foundation. As vinegar to the teeth and as smoke to the eyes, so is the sluggard to them that send him. So you have the behavior of the wicked outlined here, and we begin with the fool. It is a sport to a fool to do mischief. Here in the city where I live, recently there was some vandalism that took place. We have a major ball club here, and they do all kinds of philanthropic things. You know, they give monies to different groups and so forth. And one of the things that they do is they provide ball fields for low-income neighborhoods. And one of these ball fields, they had redone the whole ball field, you know, really nice, and then put up some nice benches, some park benches and things for people to sit on to watch the ball games. Somebody came along with some green paint and just splashed it all over these nice park benches. Why do you think they did that? What's behind that? Well, that's nothing but foolishness, isn't it? I mean, it's just foolishness. And for the person who did that, they probably had a grand old time doing it. That wasn't, you know, because they were angry at anybody. They just thought, hey, it'd be great to vandalize this. Let's go get some green paint and do it. Well, that's the idea here. It's a sport to the fool to do mischief. But a man of understanding, he has wisdom. The fear of the wicked, it shall come upon him. So whatever the wicked's afraid of, and these people that splash green paint, they were probably afraid they were going to get caught. Guess what? They got caught. The fear of the wicked, it shall come upon him. So you go out and you do mischief, you're going to be under a cloud of doubt and worry the whole time, and you're going to be caught. The desire of the righteous shall be granted. As the whirlwind passes, so is the wicked no more. And guess what? You go from behavior to your end. There's behavior, fear, and an end for the wicked man. But the righteous is an everlasting foundation. He's going to remain. And then it says here, as vinegar to the teeth and smoke to the eyes, so is the sluggard to them that send him. Now, we all know this. This little vignette, you can imagine someone sending by the hand of a sluggard an important note, an important item, something, and the sluggard takes his time and is foolish in handling of the important thing, and the end of it is worse than the beginning of it, because he damages not only the thing that he was given to communicate, but he also damages the reputation of the people that sent him. So that's why it says vinegar to the teeth and smoke to the eyes. It's painful to put the wrong person in charge of an important matter. Be careful that you're not laying into the hand of fools something important, because the sluggard will be as vinegar to your teeth and as smoke to your eyes. And then we have here in 27 through 32, the end of the chapter, the difference between the righteous and the wicked, as if we hadn't had enough differences already. But he kind of quickly categorizes these for us. The fear of the Lord prolongs days, but the years of the wicked shall be shortened. Who has the fear of the Lord? The wise son, right? We began with the wise son. He has the fear of the Lord. Well, that prolongs days. Again, notice the theme of life. Years of the wicked, it's not a theme of life here. There's nothing but destruction to be looked forward to. The hope of the righteous shall be gladness, but the expectation of the wicked shall perish. The way of the Lord is strength to the upright, but destruction shall be to the workers of iniquity. The righteous shall never be moved, but the wicked shall not inhabit the earth. The mouth of the just bringeth forth wisdom, but the froward tongue shall be cut out. Again, notice the mouth theme there. The lips of the righteous know what is acceptable, but the mouth of the wicked speaketh frowardness. Again, notice the mouth theme. The lips of the righteous, the mouth of the wicked. Again, we have that here. So an important theme throughout this chapter. The hope, the way, the righteous shall never be removed, the mouth and the lips, all of them describing the righteous, the years of the wicked, the expectation of the wicked, the destruction to the workers of iniquity. The wicked shall not inhabit the earth. The froward tongue shall be cut out. The mouth of wickedness speaks nothing but frowardness. So, all of that describing, or actually doing sort of a comparison contrast, really, between the righteous son and the foolish son. He's going to have a short life. His expectation shall perish, whilst the wise son's expectation, it'll be gladness. The destruction comes to the workers of iniquity. The way of the Lord is the strength to the upright. So notice the way of the Lord is on the wisdom side, the wise son. Destruction, and the workers of iniquity, that's the foolish son again. The wicked shall not inhabit the earth. One day, that will be true. One day when the Lord makes right all things, that will be true. Okay, well, I hope you'll join me again next week, and we'll look at Chapter 11 on the School of Wisdom podcast. Hey, thanks for listening to the School of Wisdom podcast. If you're listening to this over YouTube, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time one of these podcasts is uploaded. I really appreciate all my followers, and I try to respond to each and every one of your questions. Come again next week, and we'll enjoy another lesson in the School of Wisdom.